Hi everyone, Therese here. Oh man, what a week. Do karma cards, and I called this episode The Antidote to Fear. Because guess why? Why? Why would I call it that? What's there to be afraid of? 2020, what do you have for us next? Right? So I wanted to tell you what was coming in psychically, also provide a little bit of comic relief through my just trying to talk live. So, and that's what I'm sharing here is a perspective, my perspective on the situation. By no means am I telling you that I am right or I am the only one who knows what's going on. I'm sharing with you the perspective that I am coming from that feels good. And so what I'm asking, I guess what I'm asking for you is to use discernment. Those who are at the spirit circle know exactly what I'm talking about. Discernment, right, is the accurate judging of a situation. And discernment is something that is highly personal, highly personal. It means the only way you can get the answer that is right for you is through you. So I guess let's share that first, because this was really important information, and discernment is such an important skill to develop, right? It's a very important skill to develop when we are living in times like right now where everybody's offering a perspective and an opinion, and the situation is getting so heightened, so much heightened emotional energy and craziness around it that it's really easy to get swept up in that. And for those who are here who watch this and it resonates with you, here's two things I can tell about you. You're highly sensitive, number one. Two, you're empathic. So what does that mean for you? Well, you already know highly sensitive and empathic people pick up other people's stuff, right? And we don't do that on purpose. We're just aware and open and receptive to the emotions of other people. And why do we pick it up? It's because we are naturally coming from a place of wanting to be of service and help heal. The downside of being empathic is that, one, you can forget what's yours because you get so enmeshed in the heightened intensity of other people's feelings. Two, you take on stuff you're not supposed to, right? So even though we want to be of service and be healing, everything we see, we're like, heal, right? We want to do that so bad. Some of this stuff is not yours to heal. And that's where we have to learn boundaries, and we have to remember, oh yeah, this person probably programmed this into their life so that they could learn something from it. So we have to remember to intend love and healing and goodwill towards all, and try not to solve everybody's problem, right? Like, first take care of you, and then intend healing to all. Let's talk about what discernment is, the accurate judging of your reality. It's highly personal, and it is where you're getting the information. If you can't find the answer outside, if there's too many choices, the answer must come from within. So to accurately discern, you need three things to happen. Number one, you need to trust yourself. Trust yourself. If you can't trust what's coming from within, it doesn't matter how good that information is. If you can't believe it, you're kind of at a standstill, right? So the first step is really learn to trust yourself, that the information that comes from within is valuable and right for you. Number two, when it comes to discernment, is you must be present. So if you get too stuck in the past, you're not present. And if you're worried too much about what's going to happen next, where does this go next? You're not in the present. The present moment is where everything that's tangible that you can address and know, like, for example, let's be present right here. Well, I know I see Caitlin. Hey, and Maria, good to see you. I see all these people here with me. I'm on Facebook Live. I'm holding a crystal. There's cats in front of me. It's actually a really good moment here. That's being present, right? And from this place, this is where step number 3 to activating discernment, so getting the higher truth, comes in. To activate your intuition, you can go through common sense. And another way of saying that is to activate your intuitive senses, your heightened extrasensory psychic senses. You go through your physical senses because they're both connected. So that's the thing about discernment, is that common sense, like wash your hands or take vitamin C or things like that, and intuition can be present at the same time and cohesively work together. So can your 5 physical senses and your extrasensory senses. So while you're present, how to activate your extrasensory senses. Are you guys ready? It's actually pretty easy once you figure it out. Be present. Number 2, you have to relax. So if you're like I gotta figure this out because I might die. If you're in that state, nope, you're shut down. Our extrasensory senses work kind of like a Wi-Fi signal, okay? And when we're in fight or flight, our extrasensory senses suck up and close down because we don't have time to access them. And you do need time to access your heightened senses. So when we're in fight or flight, we are not intuitive or psychic at all. We're in oh shit mode, and we stay there in order to access the extrasensory, the knowledge that's floating around you, and the non-physical, right? In the quantum field, if you will. You have to relax. So you have to be present, and it'll be like, I'm in my room. I have food and water. I have shelter. I am safe. And from that place, you start to expand. And as you expand, you relax. Now what you do is you pick one of your senses to start with. We actually want to activate all 5, but let's pick one to practice right now. You guys can do this with me right here, okay? So let's take a moment. This is something I would teach in my Modern Mystic Society classes, which used to be called School for Spirit, Modern Mystic Society. Those are coming back in the future. I can't wait. So here's what we would do. Just take a moment and acknowledge what is right here. So you're on your phone or computer. You're in your space. Acknowledge the space. Acknowledge that you're safe. And as you start to feel your body relax, let's pick sense of smell. That's kind of a fun one. Sense of smell. So as you're tuning into your physical sense of smell, we're going to try, so here's how we kind of usually use our physical senses, is we use them very specifically. Like we walk into a room and we're like, what's that smell, right? Like we're getting really honed in on trying to identify what we're smelling. In this exercise, we actually want to open up our olfactory center and just try to smell the space. Some of you might enjoy this, some might not. Okay. So as I stop trying to look for a smell and I just open up my sense of smell, the first thing I get is like my lip balm. I smell that, which I wasn't smelling before. I can actually smell the candle I was burning earlier today, still kind of in this room. Okay, so now I want you to see that as you start opening it up and just letting the information come, your other senses kick on. Like suddenly, when I smelled that candle, which I did not expect to smell, suddenly I was transported into the moment where the candle was on, and I'm getting information about what was happening there. All right, so this is how it leads you. You can do the same thing with your sense of hearing. This is a really good one to do. Same exercise where you first get comfortable in the space. To open up your hearing, you simply allow yourself to hear everything. So we're really good at filtering stuff out. This is part of what we do on a daily basis. We constantly have to block things out. And that actually comes from the fight or flight instinct, because we need to listen for very specific stuff when we're in fight or flight, like listen for threats, listen for danger. And so we can tune things out when we go into parasympathetic state, which is where we go when we expand and relax. We suddenly allow the environment to come in. This is so crazy. When you practice it, you can actually hear not just what's around you, but you can actually hear outside. You'll start to hear cars driving on the road like a block away. That's how crazy and amazing your physical senses are. When that starts happening, you start opening up. This is where the information starts coming in. This is where you can start kind of tapping in and asking your own team in spirit, your own guides, angels, ascended masters, higher self, source energy. You can ask all of that. You know, okay, now I'm in this receptive, open space. Tell me more about what I should do next. Like, what's the right next action for me? And that is how you can activate discernment from inside and get the information that is right for you, rather than trying to figure out who's giving you the right answer. Find it for yourself. So this might trigger some people. I'll give you a trigger warning. I'm going to show you the devil card from the tarot. Please don't be scared. It is just a card with a picture on it, but that's the tool I'm going to use to talk about. So if you don't want to look at that, if that freaks you out, this is your moment. It was good seeing you. Okay. So I want to talk about fear and what it is. And the best way I can describe it is using the devil card from the tarot. And a lot of people misinterpret this card and it freaks their shit out. I can understand why. It's not a necessarily pleasant looking card. It's not, I don't get it and go, ooh, fun, right? And the tarot was designed at the time that this particular deck, which is the most famous, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, was designed. It was used by a secret, brotherhood, and a secret order who was talking about spiritual information, but had to do it on the hush-hush down low and didn't want to share the meaning or messages. Thankfully, we don't live in that time anymore. Now we live in a time where it's open and we can access the information. So the first thing I want you to know is it's not what you think it is, number one. And that is the truth with fear, right? So fear itself is false evidence appearing real. And this card depicts that. The first thing they do is they got this half man, this chubby half man with bat wings and eagle's claw feet and a goat's head going on. And the creators were trying to tell you something non-verbally. They were trying to tell you this isn't real. It doesn't exist, right? You're not going to find this. You're not going to find this in reality. That was the first message, is fear. Just because you are seeing the thing you're afraid of or experiencing the thing you're afraid of doesn't mean that it is real. It is a projection. It's a projection from the mind onto a situation. Right? So that's why so many people are having different perspectives. Some are more engaged in their own fear and others are not. And the other part of this card, the message that's in it, is showing the man and woman are chained to this little tiny half cube that they could easily break away from. But it's their belief in their projection and what they are thinking they're afraid of that keeps them locked in place. Right? And the other thing is like the torch upside down with no light coming off of it. Fear it's not going to illuminate anything. You're not going to get answers or truth from a place of fear. That's the other part of the message. In the tarot, what is suggested by ancient wisdom, which is, it's come throughout time. The tarot actually originates all the way back to ancient Egypt. So it has a very long lineage. And the message is that when you are confronted with your fear, laugh at it. It's the antidote to any fear, is to realize how ridiculous it is. And that's sometimes easier said than done, although there's a lot of opportunity to laugh right now. I mean, the whole toilet paper thing is hysterical to me because, of all the things that we could be freaking out about, I don't understand why it's toilet paper and buttholes, but that's funny. You've got to see that that's funny. I mean, give yourself permission to laugh. The more that you can realize how ridiculous it is that we are letting ourselves be so overwhelmed with fear, the less power it has over you, and you start to see that you are more powerful than anything outside of you. The more you trust yourself, by the way, the more that dawns on you, that you are more powerful than anything outside of you. We've lived in a time where we were told for a long time that the outside world is real and it affects us. There has been a paradigm shift. it's existed through the whole time. But a lot of people, when they call it awakening, the first thing that people realize as they awaken is that I affect the external world. I affect the external world, and the external world mirrors back to me my belief system. Right? That doesn't mean other people aren't operating and can make choices. That's not what it means. It simply means my perception of it is completely mine. I affect it, right? I can change my perspective. I could decide that whatever is happening is this beautiful organic mutation throughout humanity that's raising us up to a new level. If I chose to experience that, I would have a very different experience of what is happening. So your perception is 100% in your control, and it affects how you see the outside world. And awakening brings that to you. And it's this moment where this is where the self-trust becomes tricky for people, because the transition from believing the world can do anything to you to believing you have the ability to affect the world, and that's really what's happening, that one causes people to go, whoa, like first their mind goes, and then they go, oh my God, oh my God, if I'm choosing to perceive life like this, what am I doing to myself? I can't trust myself. And then this whole ball of yarn has to be unwound. Okay? So have compassion for yourself, and that will help create more trust for yourself. Have compassion for others, other people right now. Compassion is key, right? Though this whole thing, part of it is to create a divide. This is a polarizing time, period. That is the first level of fourth density. And I know I keep talking about this. It's important you understand we're already here. Fourth density is the density density means the rate at which our consciousness vibrates. And it's a raised level of awareness. The first level is like I call it the detox vibration. So everything like opens up and shakes apart, and you get this really strong feeling of division. That is, it does happen. It helps you kind of like separate the facts or pick a side, if you will. That's what it's intended to do, but it's not intended for us to divide as humanity. The actual goal of fourth density is unification. Like, this is where we come together. This is where we start to recognize and awaken to the fact that we have a collective conscious. And you see this happening, right? As the collective moves in a certain direction, the feeling sweeps through people. And we can have a powerful impact by choosing more consciously where we put our thoughts. So if our thoughts are about gloom and doom, we're adding to that version of the collective, and we tip the scale in that way. If our thoughts are in this place of, I'm a powerful creator and I can choose my perspective, and that affects my immune system. So how I experience the world emotionally has a direct impact on my immune system. And I know you know this, right? You know that when you're in a shitty mood or you don't feel good, your immune system is already suppressing. When you feel better, when you have better feeling thoughts and genuinely better feeling thoughts, your immune system boosts, right? And we're doing that within our own freaking mind, right? So as we more consciously choose, how do I want to contribute to the collective, because we know we're doing it anyway, then that's when we start going, okay, so I feel afraid because there's a lot of fear happening, but this is actually funny. And that can help you sort of shift your thoughts. You're like, wow, if this is what I never thought Armageddon would have so much toilet paper, like a little toilet paper, but maybe not this much toilet paper. When you can find that ridiculous in it and laugh at it, fear just it can't hold. It needs your complete surrender and belief to it for it to hold. So when you can find what is ridiculous in even the toughest moments, you're actually boosting your own immune system. And that is the antidote to fear. By the way, I forgot to mention, so here, the reason why I brought up the devil card is the devil card's related to Capricorn. 2020 is very Capricorn, and Capricorn is not a bad thing, but Capricorn and the devil are connected. Saturn is actually the planet Saturn in Greek mythology, Roman mythology actually, but same guy, Same guy. Kronos, Saturn, the devil, right? And here's where he can teach us something. The mythology of Kronos or Saturn, right? So he was the original king of the gods. He was the father of all the gods, and he was the king. And he went to I think it was the oracle at Delphi or somewhere like that. He went to an oracle and he heard a prediction that one of his sons would overthrow him and become king of the gods. So what did Kronos/Saturn do? He ate all of his damn children. He ate them all in hopes that he would prevent them from overthrowing his rulership. Well, they say that you meet your fate on the path you take to avoid it. Somebody type that in the chat. Somebody type that in. You meet your fate on the path you take to avoid it. Okay, so Kronos eats all of his children. Well, inside his stomach, his kids are like, we're not having this. How do we get out? And Zeus fashions the way out, right? He must use his lightning bolt or something, gets them out. He frees them. And all the children are so grateful to Zeus that they make Zeus king of the gods. So the story here is the path that we're taking to avoid anything that we fear is like literally how we manifest it. And we see this story, we hear this is a plot line that it plays out over and over again. You've seen this before, right? In so many different dramas, tragedies, they keep hammering home this message that it's the very thing that you're doing to avoid the thing happening that actually causes it to happen. So that's why I bring it up. It's a very Capricornian time. Capricorn is connected to, responsibility. It's the manifester. There's a lot of positives we can get during this time, but it's also connected to fear, the fear of losing, the fear of the karmic return, because during a heavy Capricorn or Saturn time, there is a lot of karmic returns. Like, look what you put out, here it comes back. So again, the way through it is to laugh, and choose consciously how you want to contribute mentally to this whole situation. Here is how we play. If you haven't played before, I have 3 decks, the planets, the signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And the way that we play is, I've already asked my team, what is the message we have at this time? And you decide if you want action, which is red, or outcome, which is blue. And of course, you can choose both if you're like, no, I want both. It's up to you. Totally up to you. This reading is active, they said, from the 11th to the 15th. By the way, this week already started out where people were posting about how we start the week with a full moon and we end the week with Friday the 13th. Like, what else could go wrong? I mean, first of all, full moons are all about letting go. This is a great time to let some shit go, figuratively and literally. And Friday the 13th is the divine feminine. So all of that information, all that fear about this week is such bullshit. The divine feminine, Friday, is ruled by Venus, one of the benefic planets. It's about fertility, love, harmony, money. It's like a really good day, Friday. 13 is the number of the divine feminine and of transformation. So we've got let it go and transformation. Let it go at the beginning, transform at the end. I mean, come on, it couldn't be more beautiful. So that's just another way that perception can be twisted to make you feel afraid, or you can feel empowered. It's really a choice. Let me tell you the flavor of this reading. We have Jupiter, always a good sign, in Scorpio. So this is like super heavy mystery / spiritual time. In the first house of self. Spiritual action at this time is learn or teach the extraordinary power of prayer immediately. Learn or teach the extraordinary power of prayer immediately. Power of prayer, interpret it how you will. Here's what's coming through to me. Prayer is the asking right? And I was just talking to you earlier about the steps of discernment and how to discern information from an internal higher source. Prayer is the asking. Many times I think that when we think of praying, unless you do it regularly, and if you do, God bless you, you figured it out. But a lot of people, when they pray when they're freaked out. And that's okay. That is okay. But the extraordinary power of prayer is in that regular communication with your higher self, with God, with source, whatever you want to call it. That's what that is, right? And so learn or teach it right now. So if you need to learn that, if you need to get in that place of how do I talk to this higher source and ask for more information, not just in times when I feel in dire need, but like on a regular basis, so that I am strengthening that sense of trust within myself. Number one. Number two, if I already know how to do this, how can I share that with others, right? Without necessarily telling them this is how you do it, but really like, let me share with you what works for me. Mental action at this time. Be positive about the highest and lowest aspects of the way you project yourself. Boom! It's like if I could throw these down and walk away, I totally would. But then I wouldn't know where to find them later. Okay, sorry. So let me say that again. Mental. Be positive about the highest and lowest aspects of the way you project yourself. So going back to what I told you about what happens when we awaken, right? We recognize the external world isn't doing things to us. I am projecting my experience onto the external world. We are projecting our experience. We are projecting what we see, right? And there's so many people out there who are in quantum physics who are telling us we're living in a simulation. Not necessarily a computer simulation, but it kind of works like that. The simulation is of the mind. We're having a hallucination together, a mass hallucination in a way. And that's where the power comes back in, when you realize that what if you stopped and you're like, what if it is a simulation? If you asked yourself that, then you could play with that idea. I am projecting my belief about something onto someone. Another way people say it is I'm telling stories about my experience, about what that person thinks of me, about what is happening in the world, right? Be positive about the highest, right? The highest aspects, the lowest, the fear of the way you project yourself. It's not just onto other people, it's onto the world. What am I seeing? What am I telling myself I see? So many wise spiritual teachers talk about how they woke up one day and realized that they were telling stories they weren't interested in anymore. And they changed the story, and it changed their life. And nothing outside of you has more power than you. And I feel like this time period isn't so much like it's happening and you have to participate. I feel like it's a test. Like, okay, Therese, so you say that you get to experience your reality. So here's this thing. It's going to be big, overwhelming, and slightly scary. And now, do you still believe that? It's kind of like if you look at it that way, it's sort of a cool test period where it's like, what do I really believe? Because sometimes we use spirituality to sort of soothe ourselves, like everything's going to be fine. It's all going to be okay. But do you really believe that? So this is one of those moments where it's like testing out your faith, your spirituality, your belief in anything is being tested right now. And then physical action at this time. Grow and expand, control the situation, and do it on your own. Okay, so this one's one of those more esoteric ones where you're kind of like, grow and expand, open your mind, control the situation, recognize who has influence on what. So the old paradigm is the external world affects me. The new paradigm is I affect my external world. Right? Nothing's happening to you. You're not a victim, you're a creator. So control the situation. Do it on your own. Own it, right? So doing it on your own takes responsibility. You're not waiting for somebody to give you permission to be the creator of your life. You are stepping into that role, or you're recognizing it, or you're awakening to it. And this time period can be one of those times where it's like, put your money where your mouth is. It's like, do you want this thing to have more control in your life than you do? Do you? Because that's the choice you get to have. Some people are choosing that. Do you have to choose it? question your spiritual outcome at this time. The granting of purification to resurrect who you are. I love these. These are good ones. The granting of purification to resurrect who you are. You are the creator. You are the creator. And when you recognize that nothing outside of you has more creative power than you. God lives within. Source lives within. That's why it's like discernment is the way to go to get the answers, because you want to talk to the big cheese, go inside. That's where they hang out, right? The mental outcome of this time. Blessings from the secrets of your desires. It goes within this whole theme. The secrets of your... Some people love the idea that they're a powerful creator, but are so afraid to claim it because what if ... fill in the blank. So is that you? My question for you, or the cosmic question here is, do you love the idea that you're a powerful being connected intimately with Source, comes right through you all day long, and you create a powerful reality, but you're afraid to claim that just in case that's not right. Just in case I got that wrong. I just don't want to fully claim that. There is power, there's blessings in claiming that. It's like the universe is like, finally, so-and-so's online now, and now we can really operate. Now we can get cooking, right? Because remember, on this plane, we have free will. That's part of this grand experiment we're in. You get to choose. You get to choose if the outside world is more powerful or if you're more powerful. But I'll tell you what, universe, Source, God, whatever you want to call it, can't really work through you until you acknowledge it works through you. Right? So, and they're okay with your choice. There's no punishment. There's no like, frowny face for you. Free will. And it's all exciting to watch from wherever they're watching from. But if you really want to see what happens in life and you activate that connection, that's where all the blessings come in. That's where that new version of you comes online. Physical outcome at this time is good fortune. Good fortune. I love that. Resulting from the power of your actions. Good fortune. Resulting from the power of your actions. And these actions, again, along with the thread of the message, they're not necessarily things you have to go do. It's more internal. It's about the self, really. It's about like, again, this is that period where, so when we feel safe and secure and all snuggly and warm, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I create my reality and that feels good. And I know, I know that I'm loved and protected and I'm not alone. It's in times like this where when we're faced with a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of confusion, that we find out what we really believe. And what we really believe is it's not really the point. What you really believe, it's like, oh, I don't really believe that. But guess what? You still have the choice to really act from that place, right? That you're to claim ownership. So it's not so important that you find out that I don't really believe in my own personal creative power. It's more important what you do with that information next, right? So what we want to do is look at how this whole experience makes us feel, get honest with ourselves about what we really have faith in, if it's us or something else, and then decide from there, if this is, oh, Asa, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Is that really what you want? Or is it that other thought that you hold on to when things feel safe? And if it's that thought, there is good fortune from claiming whatever it is that helps you know that you are powerful, that you have an impact. You have an impact only even just with thought. How amazing is that? And that what you choose to do next, the next right move for you, it might not be for everybody. And that's okay. Because everybody has the power of discernment. Everybody has source energy coming through them. Everybody's walking around with the next right step for them. And so what we can do is honor ours, honor what comes through you, and then send that love, healing, and appreciation out to others, right? Trust them. The more you trust yourself, the more you trust other people. And if they want to go on the path of freak out, you're like, oh, okay, I'll see you back over here. I'm going to send you some positive energy while you do that, but I'm not going with you. All right. So I hope this was helpful. The other thing I wanted to ask people, I just wanted to touch base. How many people have been feeling for, I've been talking to people, everyone's getting headaches, crown chakra, feels like there's like spikes going through it, or it's opening and it's really painful. Third eye's been acting up and feeling painful. Are you having like weird physical pains that are coming out of the blue? All of this is connected to higher frequency energy coming through. It doesn't feel great as it comes in because we are integrating it into our system. But I want you to know that regardless of the other stuff that's happening, higher quotients of light are coming in. They're coming through the body. We are having like detoxy sort of opening up symptoms. Everybody I've talked to, see, look, all of you are like, yep, yeah. So here's things we can do. Yes, it all counts. Because you know what? Here's the thing that I was just talking about with someone today, one of my mentoring clients, is that this energy is coming in, unpacking, and it's moving out deeply held old beliefs. And feelings buried alive never die. That's the title of one of my favorite books. Feelings Buried Alive Never Die by Carol Trueman. Carol with a K. Carol Trueman. You can find it on Amazon. Great book. The point is that as we are raising up in frequency, we can't carry lower frequency shit with us anymore. So if we're holding on to stuff for a long time, old beliefs, old pain, old hurt, it's coming out, and it's like a rug being shaken out. And here's where it shows up. It shows up where the information is being held. So it does come up in people's knees or digestive system, sinuses, back, forehead, wherever the pain is being held in the body, it will start to ache and activate. And here's the perfect opportunity to like touch that spot, right? And just talk to your body. Just say, what message do you have for me now? And you will know. I mean, people are telling me they know exactly what's going on. They know what the body is saying. They know what the pain and the emotions are. So you're tuned in already. Just ask. The information's right there and it wants to be released. So once you get that information, then you ask yourself, you acknowledge it, right? For just like if you were trying to help a person you love very much, which should be how you feel about yourself. So then you say, okay, I feel I'm being really hard on, that's what I got. One of the ones I got was, you're being really hard on me or hard on yourself. And so what I said was, I hear you. I'm being really hard on myself. How can I make this better? And then the answer comes. Give me a break. Have some compassion. I'm doing the best I can. Like stuff, it'll come in. So then you can say, I wish you peace, or whatever it asks for. And that starts that healing process. The other thing is drink more water. The cells are moving at a faster rate now, and we are dehydrating because we're moving through a lot of water in our body. Every time we do high energy work, we are moving, the cells spin faster. And this is kind of our new rate of spin. Okay. So we're not in the like, choo, 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 like I keep seeing little tiny washing machines in my mind's eye. They're like, they used to be like on, choo, 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 and now we're like on. So we need to really drink the fluid, keep yourself hydrated, make sure you balance your electrolytes, put a little sea salt. One of the health coaches I follow recommends gray sea salt. Very good. Gets you the full mineral complex. Some people love pink Himalayan. I think just any salt in your water, make sure that you're drinking a lot and you're putting little bits of salt in your water to keep your minerals and electrolytes up, and you'll start feeling better, I hope. But just know you're not alone. it's happening, it's real, we're feeling it. And as I get more information about what's happening in the cosmos with planets, and the sun is doing a lot, sending us a lot of energy. So as I get that information, I will be sure to share it with you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here today. It makes my heart happy. I hope this was helpful. My intention is to bring calm and peace and a little silliness so that you can just giggle at the fear, at the ridiculous, and know that you are a powerful creator, and your thoughts contribute to the well-being of the whole. So every thought is like a penny. And it's okay if you put some fear thoughts out there. It's okay if you went down the what if rabbit hole in the dark place. That's okay. Consciously try to add more to the positive collective, and that's definitely going to help us all, right? So until next time, love you all. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so that you know the next time I release a new video. Until then, stay magical.